Imagine standing over a patch of ordinary earth. People walk over it every single day. Cars drive past. But just 50 feet below the soles of your shoes lies an unimaginable fortune. Not just a few coins, but the entire economic lifeblood of the greatest empire the ancient world had ever seen. A treasure so massive it was said to be enough to buy an army of 1,000,000 men. And it is still there, waiting in the dark. The year is lost in the fog of endless wars, but the event shattered history. The ultimate fortress city, a capital that had stood unbreakable for over 1,000 years, was finally collapsing. The sky was black with smoke. The ground shook with the impact of massive, world-ending cannons. The enemy was at the gates, outnumbering the defenders by unthinkable margins, inside the impenetrable walls. Panic wasn't just a feeling, it was a plague. The emperor knew the end was coming. He knew his lineage, his throne, and his life would be extinguished before the sun rose again. But he had one final, desperate play. He summoned his most elite, fanatically loyal guards. These were men who had sworn oaths in blood, men who did not fear death, but feared the erasure of their empire. The emperor gave them a chilling order. They were not to fight on the walls. They were not to defend the palace. Their mission was far darker and infinitely more important. They were to take the empire's ultimate emergency reserve, tens of thousands of pounds of solid gold, priceless artifacts, and the crown jewels, and bury it. They had to hide it so deep, so perfectly, that the invading forces would never find a single trace of it. The gold was the seed from which the empire would one day be reborn. Beneath the ancient city lay a labyrinth of forgotten catacombs, ancient cisterns, and winding tunnels that predated even the empire itself. It was a subterranean world of eternal darkness. The elite guards loaded the unimaginable wealth onto heavy wooden carts. The sound of the iron-rimmed wheels echoing against the damp stone walls was masked by the deafening roar of artillery above. They descended deeper than anyone was ever meant to go. The air grew thin. The torches flickered, struggling to breathe in the suffocating depths. But pause for a moment and really think about this. Imagine being one of those soldiers. You are pushing carts loaded with more wealth than your mind can even comprehend. Above you, your friends, your family, your entire world is being violently erased from existence. The screams from the surface bleed down through the stone, and you know, deep in your gut, that you are not coming back up. To keep a secret this massive, there can be no witnesses. They reached a chamber that wasn't on any map, a void deep within the bedrock. Here, in frantic silence, they unloaded the treasure. Mountains of gold coins, chests overflowing with diamonds, rubies, and emeralds, artifacts of unimaginable historical and religious power. They stacked it in the darkness, a monument of desperate hope. Then came the final brutal phase of the plan. They didn't just walk away. They collapsed the tunnels behind them. Some historical whispers suggest the emperor's most trusted commander sealed the vault from the outside, trapping the loyal guards inside with the gold to ensure no one could ever be interrogated. They died in the pitch black, guarding the greatest fortune in human history. Hours later, the city fell. The enemy breached the walls, flooding the streets. They tore the city apart, tearing down palaces, ripping up floors, torturing the surviving nobility to find the legendary imperial treasury. They knew the empire was wealthy beyond measure, but they found nothing. The vaults were empty. The conquerors were baffled. How could an empire's entire wealth simply vanish into thin air? The conquerors dug, they interrogated, they scoured every inch of the city. Nothing. The gold was gone. Centuries bled into centuries. The fallen empire became a ghost story. The location of the lost imperial hoard became a myth, a bedtime story told to children. But myths always leave breadcrumbs. In the dusty archives of forgotten monasteries, in encrypted letters sent by merchants who witnessed the fall, clues survived. Fragments of truth. Now, fast forward to the modern era. We have ground-penetrating radar. We have satellite imagery. We have technology that can see through solid rock, and suddenly, the myth is waking up. Researchers analyzing the subterranean geology of the ancient capital's modern footprint have noticed terrifying anomalies. Massive, unnatural voids deep in the bedrock, far below the known historical layers. These voids do not match any known geological formations. They are perfectly rectangular, and they are heavily shielded by an unusually dense layer of compacted lead and stone, the exact materials an ancient engineer would use to block tunneling and hide a thermal or magnetic signature. But this is where the story gets incredibly dark. Why hasn't anyone dug it up? If we know it might be there, why not just drill a hole? Because the location is a nightmare. The anomaly sits directly beneath one of the most densely populated, historically sensitive, and politically volatile areas in the world. Digging there is not just illegal, it would cause an international incident, but that hasn't stopped the shadow operations. Over the last few decades, a strange pattern has emerged on the ultra-elite black market. Pieces of gold, ancient, incredibly pure, bearing the exact imperial seal of the fallen emperor, have started quietly surfacing. They are sold in secret auctions to billionaires who keep them hidden in private vaults. Where are these coins coming from? If the main vault is sealed, how are pieces leaking out? The answer might lie in a terrifying discovery made by a rogue team of urban explorers just a few years ago. Deep in the flooded, forgotten sewer systems of the city, miles away from the suspected main vault, they found something that made their blood run cold. A collapsed wall, and behind it, a narrow, suffocating tunnel carved out of the dirt by human hands. It wasn't an ancient tunnel. The tool marks were relatively modern. Someone had been digging. They followed the tunnel. It snaked downward for what felt like hours. The air became toxic, thick with sulfur and decay. At the end of the tunnel, they didn't find gold. They found a skeleton. But it wasn't an ancient soldier. Judging by the remnants of the clothing, it was a man from the early 1900s. He was trapped under a massive cave-in, and his bony fingers were tightly clenched around a small leather pouch. Inside that pouch were 3 solid gold coins bearing the face of the last emperor. Listen to what this actually means. This man, whoever he was, found the hoard, or at least, he found a backdoor into the labyrinth leading to it. He bypassed the ancient traps, he crawled through the claustrophobic darkness, and he filled his pockets with the Empire's lost blood. But the vault didn't let him leave. The earth swallowed him whole, keeping it secret. Experts believe that the original Imperial engineers didn't just bury the gold, they weaponized the earth around it. They diverted underground rivers to flood any unauthorized breaches. They weakened the structural integrity of the surrounding rock so that any heavy vibration from digging would cause an instant, massive collapse. The vault is essentially a giant underground booby trap, rigged to destroy everything around it if disturbed. And today, there are skyscrapers, subways, and thousands of innocent lives directly above it. The greatest treasure in human history is not a fairy tale. It is a very real, very dangerous reality lurking just beneath the concrete. It holds enough wealth to destabilize global economies. It holds artifacts that could rewrite the history of religion and power. And it is guarded by the bones of the men who died to hide it, and the men who died trying to steal it. The gold of the fallen empire sits in absolute darkness, untouched for centuries. You have to wonder, as modern cities continue to dig deeper for subways and foundations, how long until a massive drill bit breaches the wrong wall? How long until the earth gives way and the lost wealth of a dead empire finally sees the light of day? And when it does, what else will be unleashed with it? The past never truly stays buried. Sometimes it is just waiting patiently in the dark.